It's just it's that same shit that we talked about this a little bit before the stream, and I've gone off on this a lot. But it's part of the reason I don't hardly watch any Disney shit, because they're gonna buy up these IPs, and they're gonna do everything they can to change the history on them. They're that's why they're pulling, like, the Knights of the Republic fucking remake. They brought on all these fucking new writers and stuff. Why would you need to rewrite something that's already good? Well, because you need to make it canon for your universe, and your universe is a PG universe where kids can watch it. And kids can be happy with it. There's no dismemberments. There's no disintegration.
No, this will not be PG.
No, but that's the thing. It never. Star Wars never was, and you can say it's for kids. Yeah, kids watch it and kids enjoy it, but it was also for adults, or else you wouldn't have seen people getting their arms hacked off and shit like that. The fact is, like, Disney doesn't give a shit about their audience. They know they have the IP. They know they can run it into the ground, and they're trying to make everybody so fucking desperate to watch their shit and watch cool shit. Look at that. Look what we did, and they don't give a shit. They're just going to try to commercialize all of it for a PG audience.
Well, Mike, what do you think of that? Did you see that video that they just put that? Was Krista? Did you put that up? That Krista just put up, or is it?
I got it here.
I don't ever do Star Wars shit, but I almost did a video on this video.
What do you think about that? When the actor, you could see that at one point he caught himself like, "Oh shit, I'm actually bitching about the production."
Yeah.
So that's why I almost did a video on it.
We're gonna play it because there's a lot of people that think because, guess what, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have more shows, and there's this big I don't want to be careful with my words. There's this big theory out there that Kathleen Kennedy, even though she got extended for 3 years, actually has no power. Yet we're 4 years removed from The Last Jedi, where Mark Hamill famously said, "I completely disagree with what you're doing to this character." Right? 4 years away from that. Directors may have changed. The production may change. The script may change, but it's the same fucking thing from Disney, Star Wars, and from Lucasfilm. Listen to what Tamura Morrison, Boba Fett, is saying.
I was hoping not to say as much as I have already in the first 2 episodes. I speak far too much. In fact, in the beginning, I was trying to get past my lines on to Ming Na. And I always say, excuse me, director, I really feel that Ming Na should say these lines because I want to stay mysterious. I want to stay quiet.
But then I caught on. He wasn't just trying to be a very generous actor, which he is. He was just trying to parlay some of the work to me.
He's shirking his responsibility.
So yeah, but and even when because obviously John's one of the key writers. So and so sometimes I'd always say I think this is too much. I think this is too much. Then I'd go to what's the other guy's name? Noah. I'd try and get.
Noah. Yes, Noah. Mm-hmm.
I remember, because John actually went away to Atlanta, so I rang Noah that night and I said, "Noah, the scene tomorrow, I'm talking too much. This Boba doesn't talk this much. Look, I've got all these paragraphs here. I think we should get rid of it. And John's gone to Atlanta, so don't tell him." And then next minute that morning on set, I get a call from Atlanta. John wants you to say all that dialogue.
So Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau, he's listening to this guy say this, who, he played Jango Fett, right? Jango Fett wasn't a super talkative person either, but he's completely right about the character of Boba Fett and why the show's failing in so many ways. And they fucking disregard him because they don't want him to be Boba Fett. They want him to be something else.
Well, it's another case. It's another case of, directors not listening to their actors. I mean, Harrison Ford, if you go back through the history of how the original trilogy was created, Harrison Ford pushed back a lot. We would not have the exchange, "I love you, I know," if not for Harrison fucking Ford, right? The original scripted dialogue was, "I love you too." How fucking pussy if Han Solo had ever said that. And
exactly.
The thing is, Disney Star Wars, I knew there was something wrong when, there were little ticking of boxes of things that have to happen in a Star Wars movie, right? Like somebody has to say, "I've got a bad feeling about this." Right. But in the Force, how do you have the Star Wars sequel trilogy and no one gets a limb chopped off?
I know.
Not an arm, not a leg, not a nothing. Ray should have been fucking Anakin Skywalker ripped to shreds.
Well, we did get one thing happen.
Bullshit. I'm mad.
What you did, you had Ray
late.
Well, you had Ray take Luke's dick.
Yeah,
That's true.
Oh, there you go. But it's just
Yeah,
bullshit.
that's true.
How do you have lightsaber fights through 3 fucking movies? No one loses a fucking limb, right? I mean, I guess Kylo Ren got some face acne, which was bullshit.
That Ryan Johnson got rid of in the next movie because it didn't look cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
man.
even put the scar in the wrong place.
Yeah, because it didn't look cool. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I remember, I'll never forget that, and I should have. That's where I really should have realized it. But when Ryan Johnson moved Kylo Ren's scar in the trailer, people on social media started questioning it, and then Ryan Johnson straight up lied, and he goes, "It didn't move. It didn't move." And then people took screenshots of Kylo Ren at the end of The Force Awakens versus the new trailer for The Last Jedi, and then he's like, "Well, yeah, I just thought it was it looked dumb, so I moved it." And it's like, if you're willing to change that, and it's a small thing, but it's not a small thing in actuality. And I asked him, I was like, if he's willing to change that, what else is he willing to change? But I was like, oh, it's going to be great. I love Star Wars, ATST, because I was still in that place where I was just happy for Star Wars. And yeah, fuck Ryan Johnson. So,
let me tell you the tree, because the line about the scar is kind of the branch, in my opinion, because when The Last Jedi came out and I got completely, like, my entire feelings got destroyed by seeing what they did to Luke Skywalker. It took me watching The Last Jedi to re-edit it like 76 times to see the main problem of the thing, and it is actually the roots from this scar. What is it? You might be asking. Well, I'll tell you, dear viewer. It's the fact that there's no, they do not care for consequence. So if you think about it, the problem that we have with the new characters, and like I said at the beginning, when I saw the first trailer for Boba Fett, when he said, well, Jabba ruled with fear, I'm going to rule with respect. That is not caring for the consequence of what he is, of what the character is, not caring for what they have done and the consequences that will bring into the future. We're talking about a character that Darth Vader himself had to tell, hey, dude, just, bring Han Solo, but chill the fuck out, because, you're kind of nasty in your ways. So that character, the consequence of that character would be someone that is absolutely ruthless. But because there's not care for a consequence, they just do whatever they want, thinking that just slapping the sticker of like, oh, this is the character that you're supposed to love, they're going to do it.
All right, but no, can I be serious for a second about this thing? Okay, yes, continue to make fun of me being mad, but I'm mad. Look, the thing that is infuriating about that Star Wars sequel trilogy is Rey faced virtually nothing, no adversity, nothing. She was awesome, and at the end, she's even more awesome. It would have changed things so dramatically if she'd had like her legs chopped off or her arm. Like, this is a trope of Star Wars movies, which is fine, right? Like, you see the Anakin and Luke Skywalker parallels, but the fact that they wouldn't do it because she was a female Jedi, fuck that shit. It would have been on. And I think it does. I think 100%. It does a disservice to female characters in fiction that they're not putting positions where female characters have to face adversity and overcome it. It's fucked up. It's terrible fucking storytelling. And I think it would have transformed things if she had faced some sort of adversity. It would have been shocking. I was there in theaters as a little fucking kid, and I saw Luke Skywalker's hand get chopped off. It scared the living shit out of me. It was shocking the first time seeing that. I saw it in the theater first run when it was out in fucking 1980. And it blew, and I was devastated. And I remember thinking, like, oh my God, like, the fucking main bad guys, his dad, he has to murder his own dad to set the universe right. Like, this is like, I didn't see how Lucas was going to end it. It was crazy. So to deprive kids and especially female fans of Star Wars from that experience, a character that grows and learns from mistakes, is fucking criminal and small-minded, which is why Kathleen Kennedy has got to go.
Yep.
Well, I agree, and
everybody there.
To your point, this is why Rey was never going to work, is because she was not created to be a good character. She was created to be a female character. That's it. The intent was to put a female in there. It wasn't The intent was not to create a good character. It's why you look at Samus from the Metroid series. Why is Samus such a great character? Because at no point in time has Nintendo ever said, hey, buy our game with a female in it so you can prove that you're not a sexist, you bigots. Right. No, they just made a game, and we didn't even know she was a female when the game first came out back in the mid-'80s. It was a character that was created for the right reason. So when I'm sitting there playing Metroid Dread and I've got this badass character, I don't sit there and go, oh, it's a badass female character. I mean, it's a little more relevant in my mind now because of all the identity politics, but all through the years of playing Metroid, I never thought about her being a badass female character. I thought about her being a badass character. Yeah. And so with Ray, well, hang on. Yeah. So with Ray, we were constantly told she's a woman and you guys should respect that she's a woman and she's going to break barriers for the Star Wars universe. It's like, there's no fucking barriers to break. There's been women in Star Wars. And we've all liked these women characters, even some on the, the dark side or the light side. It didn't matter. Like, there's always been good characters, but Rey was created to virtue signal. That's it.
Well, go ahead.
I'm minorities fighting over screen time. Go ahead.
Let me tell you about my oppression. Okay. So, no, just kidding.
But do you want to go here? No, go ahead. Go ahead,
Aaron. I just wanted to bring my two beans into the pot because
you had the floor and then
I just have to do it, right? No, but here we go again. Like you say, Rey was created just to be a female character. Well, let me up the level. Let me butt plug a little bit of information right now, because the movies were not created to be good movies. They were just created to be movies. And the best example I can give you right now to show you that these people do not give a shit, just if you look at the last scene of The Force Awakens where Luke is at the cliff, thinking about suicide or something, the color palette of the scene is very blue and very crisp if you look at it. Now, if you look at this scene on The Last Jedi, the color palette is completely different. The color of The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens is extremely beyond, like worlds apart. And how dare you, not only as filmmaker, but as the owner of this trilogy, creating a trilogy, a sequel, to have even different colors in your movie, not like different outfits or whatever, the different color palette. If you look at the original trilogy or the sequel trilogy or any trilogy that you can think of, there's at least that minute level of consistency and care because they have the respect for such product, for such movie, because it's one in its own.
Yeah.
But not even on the color.
Do you think if Abrams had directed and written every chapter of that trilogy that it would have been more consistent?
No,
instead of handing off
consistent, but it would have been good. Abram doesn't know how to stick the landing because he knows mystery box, which he's great at coming up with ideas and then going, fuck, I don't know, and then handing you a box and go, what's in that? I don't fucking know. And then he leaves. But the fact is, he's not. I don't think he's good enough as a writer to stick the landing.
I think that, but I don't think that's answering the question. I think it 1000% would have been more consistent. In terms of tone between them all, it still would have been a pile of fucking garbage because The Force 100%. Awakens was a pile of fucking garbage.
Yeah, the fact that something is consistent doesn't mean that it's gonna be good. I've had consistent diarrhea for a week. That doesn't mean that it was a pleasant experience.
Just watch. Well, there's also
thank you, Ivan. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. There's in the The Rise of Skywalker. I even forgot the name of that fucking movie. There's a scene that sums up Rey's character perfectly because the first time that we ever see her losing anything is when Kylo Ren and her are throwing down and he's whooping her ass, and she gets so fucking furious she completely drops the whole light side I'm a good person act, straight up goes like full dark side, gets pissed off, and then takes advantage of a man losing his mother to stab him in the chest.
Yeah,
that's her fucking character, and that's exactly how these people feel. Is if a man has any kind of like power over you, you should use by any means necessary, use any advantage that you can have over him to stab him and end him, because you can't let a man ever have any power over you. Like, that is consistent with the attitude and the writing behind characters in Star Wars now versus Star Wars before. And it sums up in a nutshell exactly their concept behind Rey. So go ahead, George.
No, I was asking. So were you asking that if someone could do it better than J.J. Abrams, or if he had just done all 3 films?
No, if J.J. Abrams.
I'm wondering.
I would have liked to see him all do 3.
If either J.J. or Ryan Johnson had done all 3 films, because I think, in my opinion, Rise of Skywalker is the worst of the 3. It's such a fucking mess. It's not fun. It's just every 5 minutes they're changing like locations, and it's so stupid. But
yeah,
at least The Last Jedi had had some consistency in terms of Rey and Kylo's. The tension between those 2 characters was like throughout the entire film. I actually liked that was the best part of the film. I thought
I'm glad Yellow Flash just sent a super chat saying Lefty Lofty. I'm glad he said that. Just now after saying this, so
because I'm praising something about The Last Jedi.
Yeah,
but that's my point. Is like I don't know. And then Trevorrow was supposed to do the 3rd film, and then that got fucked. So there was essentially 4 directors or 3. You know what I mean? Like
it's a it's such a
clusterfuck.
I would have.
Well, it is. I mean, and like if you look at like so, and I'm interested in this, Rip, because you didn't touch on it much, but you said you were going to cover the Boba Fett comments.
You were
thinking about it because you're so disconnected from Star Wars, but you were looking at this going, damn, it's so because it's all about storytelling and it's showing why it's failing so much. That's
right. Like that was why I almost covered it. Was like, if people know that follow me, I like almost never fucking cover Star Wars information. It's like not my thing. But that when I saw that video and to see an actor be like, yeah, this isn't the character and this isn't who it is, but essentially my handlers told me that I have to do this. That's fucking insane, man. Like that's reflective of obviously the problem that's not just happening with Star Wars. Marvel, you're seeing it with DC, you're seeing it with virtually every popular property that exists right now, and that there's virtually no fucking passion in anything that is being put out by these fucking people, and it exists to be either number 1 bastardized or number 2 just a launching pad for some whoever it is, doesn't producer, director, what was a
writer,
writer, just wants to see their vision come to life. Damn, be if it makes sense for the characters that they're utilizing because they're egotistical like that. It's about them. It's not about the characters per se. Characters that for the most part none of these guys ever created. But that's a problem. That's why I wanted to cover it, or I thought about it, because that's a problem that we're seeing basically all across. Like every deal. I just did a video talking about that with Batgirl in the DC sense. Like these guys have no fucking passion in what it is they're fucking doing. None.
They don't. This is a common theme with Star Wars, absolutely, that we've seen, and it goes along with Dave Filoni as well. Even if you don't want to hear that, these guys feel like the normal audience doesn't care about small shit like consistent storytelling. I truly believe that's just how they feel, and they might not be wrong. I do think there's going to be a lot of normies that don't give a fuck that Boba Fett's not consistent. They just are going to show up there
or
and
that
be like,
Marvel's a woman.
Yeah, exactly. They're just not going to care. Now, we are. The hardcore fans are absolutely going to care. There's going to be a lot of pushback. But you saw it with Dave Filoni and Mandalorian with the Darksaber. He's the one that established the rules for the Darksaber. He's the one that had the Darksaber literally handed off to Bo-Katan in Rebels. That fucking happened. Bo-Katan didn't win it in battle. It got given to her. Mm-hmm. But then all of a sudden in The Mandalorian, because we want to have a different outcome and we want to cause some different drama, well, then we don't stick to those rules that we have established, that Dave Filoni himself established in the Star Wars universe, because Dave Filoni is a fucking hack. That's why.
Right. So he's not on our side is what you're saying.
It never has been. It never has been. Like, I felt like a lot of that shit started in Clone Wars. And to be fair, George was involved with Clone Wars the first 2 seasons more so than the rest, to be honest with you. But look back at Clone Wars and how often Obi-Wan and Anakin fought Count Dooku in that. And by doing that and by giving fans something that they wanted maybe in the moment, even though we know goddamn well they didn't face each other, the intention of that scene is for my powers have doubled since we last met, Count. This time we'll do it together. That's directly referencing Attack of the Clones and the fight they had in Attack of the Clones at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. Yep. But because they want to show it in the cartoon, because they think some people will like it, they decide to have them fight every other week, seemingly. Yeah. That takes away from what was established in the movies. Right. And it might be small things like that, but over time, it takes a toll on a franchise.
Absolutely.
Well, I think, and yeah, as far as like, obviously, I love the Clone Wars. I think Clone Wars is awesome, but also two things can be true at the same time. Ryan's not wrong. Ryan's not wrong at all about the continuity issues that it created with little things like that. Now, I don't think these things would have been a big problem if they would have continued on that path. But once Disney got involved, everything went out the window, and then that just magnifies those problems. Now when the whole thing falls apart, then you're able to look back on it and you're seeing where these issues were. But Dave Filoni himself, no, Dave Filoni will do whatever the powers that be tells him to do, and that's been proven. That's been proven by the Gina Carano situation. Same with Jon Favreau. People can believe that these guys are there fighting for the fans, but they're not. They're just not. They don't care about you. That's been proven. Now, again, up to the Gina Carano point, I liked a lot of The Mandalorian. I liked a lot of the stuff they were doing with The Mandalorian. Didn't love it, but I liked it a lot, and I enjoyed it. Some of it was boring, some of it didn't work, and other elements did work. But once that happened, that was a real-world impact on the fictional world that they are trying to create. You fired a woman who was a somewhat important part of that show, who was a fan favorite, over her politics. Yep. And you wanted her to get on a Zoom call with how many people was it, Ryan? How many people did they want her to get on a Zoom call with?
It was almost like 50 people.
Like 50 people, like the activists at one time. They wanted her to face like 40 or 50 people on a Zoom call at one time so they could share their feelings with her.
That's a lot of trans people to be working at Disney as well. Just saying. Jesus.
It's just unbelievable.
You're gonna tell her to sit there and run through the fucking gauntlet on a Zoom call and wonder why she didn't want to stick around. Yeah, like fuck.
Did you know what's worse than that? What you just said, Jeremy, is the fact that she actually represented everything that they say that their message is about. They're like, a strong, independent woman who gets to share her mind. That's our message. But then the second show,
right.
Boom. I have a question that I've had about this subject for Ripa. I've been really curious. I've been starting to wonder if the message is now leading Disney, or it's literally the lack of creative talent.
Oh, I think it's both. I mean, I think these people are fucking terrible at their jobs. I need people to understand that shit. Like, we're not dealing with people that are actually talented. When people like, for example, Ta-Nehisi Coates, who has zero evidence of him ever even producing something in this space, gets put on two of the most prominent Marvel characters in both Black Panther and Captain America.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, this guy has you're not hiring based on merit. They're not giving these jobs to people based upon how talented they actually are. So I think it's a combination of both. I genuinely think these guys fucking suck though. Like me and guys that have been keeping up with me and the T. Franklin chick, the chick that's writing the Harley Quinn chick. Shit, me and her.
When he screenshot you and was like,
trying to get me fucking taken off Twitter and my page fucking reported and all of this shit.
What?
Like, she's terrible. Like, she's terrible at her fucking job, but she is put in that position because of her identity or sexuality, and she's obviously that's reflective of the characters that she's changing out of nowhere, having them be fucking gay and all of this shit, and that's what it's about for them. These are people. And I think this is why I think this problem is going to continue to exist, because there's almost an entire generation of people that are coming in with this same approach. It isn't about character development. It's not about the characters per se at all. It's about them. It's about them. And they never actually learned how to do their fucking jobs. They're just put in that position because a box needed to be checked. They knew some fucking body. Maybe they had some dirt on somebody. I don't know. But they're not being put there because they're fucking talented at all. This is why I don't mince for words when I say these people fucking suck. And they often have no redeeming qualities, because that's true. They're bad. Like, if you read a comic book today, for the most part, and you compare that shit to when Jim Shooter was running the show at Marvel, they are night and day, man. Like, these guys have no idea what it is that they're fucking doing. And unfortunately, the insane people run the fucking nut house. That's how it is now. They're saying this, and people that I actually respected for a very long time like that worked for Marvel, worked for DC as well. Like Jim Lee, respected that motherfucker. He's complicit. He's fucking complicit. He's great as an artist, as a leader. He's fucking dog water. You know what I mean? Like this guy's not any fucking good. He's not any fucking good. So I do think it's a combination of both of those to answer your question.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sure.
Yeah. Hey, I can relate to Larry Hama, who created all of my G.I. Joe characters, all my favorite characters, is a absolute nut job now. Like he's just completely a nut job. I'm like, how is the guy that created all of my favorite G.I. Joe characters and stories, and now he hates my guts because I have a
Jerry
different
Conway. He created the fucking Punisher, man. This guy created the Punisher. Is fucking completely out of his mind now. He's out of his mind. I think 2016 did it to him. Like,
what was that he created lately? I mean, the way he's changed the Punisher. That.
Well, yeah. I mean, like none of these guys are any good at their jobs. Like this again. Like these are people that maybe had a shred. Most of them had none at all. But the classic guys got ruined because of they went to unfortunately the trajectory of caring about things that didn't matter, social justice, all that other sort of stuff, and they wanted to lead with that as opposed to leading with the story. And this is why these people have no problem getting on Twitter and telling you how much they fucking hate you.